Hey Faith Kids, Mr. Mark here. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever messed up or made a mistake, done something maybe to hurt someone or hurt someone's feelings, and you just wanted to go back and redo it, do it all over again? But unfortunately, we can't do that. But that's where forgiveness comes in. See, forgiveness gives us a second chance. It's like being able to redo it or rewrite the story that we just wrote. When you forgive someone, you're giving them a second chance. When they forgive you, they're giving you a second chance. And since that's all about redoing and rewriting, this month we're going to be rewriting children's stories that you guys know about, but you're going to help us out. So as we tell the story, we're going to take suggestions from you on how we can change it, and we'll make those adjustments based on what you suggest. So let's check out what story's coming up.
A long time ago, there lived a sweet little girl who was thoughtful and kind and loved to visit her grandmother. Her grandmother enjoyed the visit so much that she gave the little girl a special present. She sewed the girl a jacket with a hood, and it was in the girl's favorite color, red. The girl liked the jacket so much she wore it all over town. Everywhere she went, she had on her jacket. She even wore it to bed. Soon, everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Your grandmother isn't feeling well." "I'll go visit her," said Little Red Riding Hood, "and I'll take her a picnic." "What a good idea," said Little Red Riding Hood's mother. "Oh, we just received our very first suggestion. This one comes from Aiden, age 7. He says, 'I think grandmother wants comic books to make her feel better.'" "I'll go visit her," said Little Red Riding Hood, "and I'll take her some comic books." "What a good idea," said Little Red Riding Hood's mother, "and be sure to stay on the path through the woods." Little Red Riding Hood promised she would, and she packed a basket with all her grandmother's favorite comic books. Little Red Riding Hood skipped down the long, winding path as she always was careful to do. After a while, she met a wolf. "Hello," said the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood knew she shouldn't talk to the wolf, but he seemed friendly. "Hello," she said.
"Where are you going on this fine day, little girl?"
asked the wolf. "I'm going to visit my grandmother," said Little Red Riding Hood. "She isn't feeling well, so I'm going to bring her a basket with all her favorite comic books."
"And where does your grandmother live?"
asked the wolf. "Just at the end of this path up the big hill," she answered. A sly grin came over the wolf's face. He knew if he ran up the hill, he could get to the grandmother's house before Little Red Riding Hood.
"I'll gobble up the grandmother and the little girl,"
he thought, smacking his lips.
"Then I can read all those comic books myself, too."
"Look at all the flowers growing in the woods," said the crafty wolf.
"You should pick some for grandmother."
And we have a suggestion coming from Sadie, age 8. Instead of flowers, she should pick stuffed animals.
"Look at all the stuffed animals growing in the woods,"
said the crafty wolf.
"You should pick some for grandmother."
"Good idea," Little Red Riding Hood said. The prettiest stuffed animals were far from the path, but she decided it would be okay to leave the path just this once. When she turned to pick some stuffed animals, the wolf ran straight to grandmother's house. The door was unlocked, so the wolf opened the door and quietly crept inside the grandmother's bedroom where she was sleeping. He tiptoed to her bed, and suddenly she woke up. When she saw the wolf, she screamed. "Help! Help!" cried Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother. The wolf grabbed her and pushed her into a closet and locked the door. No, wait, we have a suggestion. This one from Claire, age 10. The wolf should push her into a bathtub. The wolf grabbed her and pushed her into a bathtub and locked the door.
"Be quiet," he said, "or I'll gobble you up now instead of later."
The wolf quickly dressed up like grandmother and hopped into bed. He quickly pulled the covers up to his hairy chin. At that moment, Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the front door. "Grandmother?" she called.
Come in, my dear,
said the wolf in a high voice. Little Red Riding Hood went into the bedroom, but right away noticed that her grandmother looked strange. "Grandmother, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood.
The better to hear you with,
said the wolf. "Grandmother, what big..." And our final suggestion is in, coming from Mason, age 11. "What big elbows you have!" "Grandmother, what big elbows you have," said Little Red Riding Hood.
The better to reach other comic books with, my dear,
said the wolf. "Grandmother, oh, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood.
The better to eat you with,
said the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood screamed. This was not her grandmother. This was the wolf. Suddenly, the wolf sprang out of bed. He tried to grab Little Red Riding Hood, but she leaped out of the way at the very last second. With a yelp, the wolf tumbled out the window and rolled head over heels down the hill and was never seen again. Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother pounded on the bathtub so Little Red Riding Hood could find her and let her out.
I'm so glad that's over, said the grandmother. What happened?
Mother said you were sick, said Little Red Riding Hood. So I packed you some comic books, but I left the path to pick some stuffed animals.
Well, you've learned your lesson, and I'm glad we are both safe,
said her grandmother. Then Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother sat down and enjoyed their visit together. It was the best one they'd ever had. The end.